Capricorn. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Alexander Creek, astrologer and intuitive. This is your June 2024 horoscope. And also hello if you're listening to the audio version of this podcast. If you're watching me on YouTube, make sure that you like, subscribe, and click on that little notification bell so that you don't miss an update when a new video drops. There's a lot happening this month, and largely due to a lot of really busy Gemini energy happening in the beginning of the month. And a lot of that due to Jupiter, the planet of expansion and wisdom and opportunity, moving into Gemini on May 25th. So a couple days ago, it's going to be in the Gemini part of your chart until June 2025. And I'll talk in a minute kind of what that may bring for you. But just really quick, Jupiter and Gemini generally, for everyone, I would also think about what was happening for you June 2012 through June 2013 and look and see, and maybe just kind of think about maybe some themes that were present or some beginnings that were happening for you, if something comes to mind, because the same themes could be revisited with Jupiter going into Gemini this time. And Jupiter in astrology, it expands what it touches. It brings opportunity. It's the planet that rules kind of wisdom and the higher mind. So, people tend to think that Jupiter brings these miraculous blessings and opportunities. Sometimes it does, but a lot of the time Jupiter simply kind of cracks open a door, and it's up to you to take that action to sort of seize that opportunity. So it brings opportunity, but maybe not in the way that you would expect sometimes, because I think sometimes popular astrology thinks it's like these sort of opportunities on a golden platter. And that is true sometimes, but the reality is most of the time it's not. And it really depends on your personal chart if you're going to feel this a lot, or if they're just, or if it is simply an opportunity that you have to take action on. Jupiter in Gemini overall is very busy, excitable energy. For all of us, there's going to be maybe more of an inclination to learn something, to study something, to engage our minds and just simply try things and be spontaneous. Jupiter in Gemini is sort of like, I want to learn this. I want to take this class. I want to go here. I want to take this trip. I want to do this. I want to try this. And I would say lean into it, be spontaneous, try things. However, at the same time, beware of scattering your energy too much so that you do not squander these opportunities that Jupiter and Gemini may bring. And that is also due to Saturn, the planet of limitation and delay and structure, making a square aspect to Jupiter. So Saturn is going to essentially kind of ask us to kind of focus our efforts, focus on building something, to not scatter, ourselves too much. Like maybe pick 4 or 5 things to study or to learn or to do, because again, Gemini, it's the realm of communication. It is ruled by Mercury, hence that why I'm talking about learning and studying so much. So Saturn is going to be asking us, what do you want to build? Make sure that you are focusing and prioritizing, and focus on some goals essentially. So Jupiter for you is moving into your 6th house, which deals with your work, like your job, what you do for work, your daily work routines, kind of what your to-do list looks like every day, as well as physical bodily health and illness, essentially. So it's not saying that you're going to get sick because Jupiter's visiting here. I'm saying that this part of your chart sort of deals with, if Jupiter is sort of moving into this part of your chart, this is a good time to work on your health and exercise routines. So ways that you can kind of maintain health, prevent illness. Jupiter here might motivate you to get into the gym, or to start incorporating some better nutrition or something, or to simply, if you're looking for more work, or if you want to expand, do something freelance, do something on the side, get a new job. Jupiter here is going to sort of help liven up this energy and kind of bring more of this energy. I remember very clearly every time Jupiter goes into my 6th house, my work increases. There's more opportunity for me to make money in a kind of more traditional job, where I can find more freelance work. And I also remember the last time that Jupiter went into the 6th house for me, it really kind of kicked off a health fitness thing that has not let up really ever since. But again, those were opportunities that I sort of took on my own, and that, but I knew that astrology was supporting me in that regard as well. In some cases, 6th house can also be small pets like dogs and cats. So perhaps this is a new pet coming in, or there's more opportunities for you to work with animals. But health and work opportunities with Jupiter moving into Gemini. So that brings us to the new moon that we're having on June 6th. And this new moon is going to be, it's a very busy feeling energy. And this is going to activate that Jupiter and Gemini energy. It's a very busy feeling energy. So this is, the need to maybe to talk, to communicate, to plan, to explore new information, to indulge your curiosity. And again, it's very busy, it's very lively, it's very social because we have Mercury, Venus. So we have Mercury, the planet of communication, which rules over Gemini, which, Mercury and Gemini is very powerful. In Gemini, it's like we're communicating on just very kind of fast kind of levels with Mercury and Gemini. And this new moon activates essentially that Jupiter and Gemini. So with this new moon energy, with this new beginning, with this new seed being planted in this part of your chart, it might be time to, you might be kind of recognizing a little bit about what these themes of Jupiter and Gemini are going to be for you, what kind of life areas are expanding or what kind of opportunities are coming in. And it might just be because it might even be because you're like excited by something. So you're going to kind of follow that sort of your highest excitement. However, with that very busy, maybe sometimes scattered, very social Gemini energy, this new moon is going to be square Saturn. And this is going to be mathematically pretty close. So a square aspect in astrology is not a comfortable energy. It is very in your face, but it's very dynamic. It's very action focused. It's like, what are we going to do with this energy? So here comes Saturn, and it's saying, okay, you're excited about doing A, B, C, D, E, F, G, but what is your plan? How are you going to achieve that? What is the focus? It's going to sort of focus and kind of contain our efforts. You have actually Saturn so Saturn is in Pisces right now, which means it is in your third house, and it's been in your third house since March 2023. And, Saturn is this planet of mastery, of lessons, of things that are hard but are worth it in the long run. And Saturn is in your third house. Third house has to do with communication in the mind. So Saturn may be helping you to kind of focus your communication space you might be focusing on learning something or teaching something or being the authority in how you communicate and how you sort of speak. And, you are a Capricorn. You are Capricorn. You have, if you're watching this video, you probably have Capricorn energy. And, you're very much you might kind of come across as the authority, essentially. So Saturn moving through this part of your chart is saying like, it's sharpening the mind. It's helping maybe you to get some sort of mental clarity, or that you might be working on learning, studying, communicating something, maybe working on teaching something, or maybe launching some kind of class or something with Saturn in this part of your chart. It's also possible that with Saturn here, this could be like, Saturn can be sort of limitations and delays and difficulties and kind of working through something. So it could be about finding your voice, essentially. Or it could be there could be some difficulties maybe involving siblings, extended families, neighbors, or, and it also, the third house, by the way, can be your daily rituals. So, this is your daily tarot card pull. This is your daily meditation or your daily journaling, your kind of daily rituals that get you in touch with sort of like the divine, but on a very kind of human level, essentially. It's sort of how you personally sort of connect. And with Jupiter going into your sixth house of your daily routines, of your daily grind, and Saturn being in the third house of your chart, this could be saying also like, the things that you do every day to get mental clarity, to get your mental focus, to improve your physical health and physical body will be very paramount to your success, essentially, kind of going forward. So you may want to be thinking about that. Also, with this new moon, I will mention Venus is very close to the moon and the sun during this new moon. And so, thus, Venus is square Saturn. So, there may be some themes around commitment or heavier themes regarding our connections and agreements with others. So it could be thinking like, is this relationship worth it? Do I feel valued in this relationship? It could just be tackling some issues in relationships, or like, because Venus represents relationships, worth, and value. So it could be just maybe some temporary difficulties that come up, or just kind of realizing the sort of gravity and weight around the things that we really care about, essentially. So those themes might come up during this new moon as well. But for you, it may specifically be new opportunities, new beginnings within your health and work. It could be more freelance work, taking on more responsibility at work. There's more work available to you, and this is kind of a golden time to sort of start some sort of health and exercise routine with this new moon. So we also have Mars, the planet of action, of energy, and how we approach conflict, moving into more conservative and deliberate Taurus on June 9th through July 20th, meaning it's moving out of independent, fiery, warrior spirit Aries that it's been in for the past several weeks. So that means for you, it's going to be moving into your fifth house. Mars going into your fifth house, it might mean that you are more motivated to kind of seek out romantic and sexual connections with others. Like you might be like, I'm like ready to like get some action, like to get some spark in my dating life. It also might mean that you are more motivated to pursue your creative projects, or there's more of like a fire under your butt to kind of creatively produce something. This also has to do with children as well. So it could just be more activity around your children or something connected to that. Mars can also be conflict and inflammation, though. So this could be a conflict involving a child or with one of your children. This could also be a little kind of rougher energy, in connecting like romantically and kind of getting that spark lit. It might be like that you're like kind of outright fighting with a lover or something connected to that. Um, it likely it's going to be kind of a mixture of these energies, just because Mars is motivation, but also can kind of indicate where we maybe have some conflict and just generally heat, right? Like some heat is good, but you don't want too much of it. So just thinking about Mars going through that part of your chart, more motivation to connect with romantic and sexual energies, creative energies, and children. Because the fifth house is sort of things that we create into the world. So children being one of them. But again, with Mars here, it can be maybe some conflict going on here as well. So I do want to take a moment and talk about the class that I have that I'm going to be offering on June 12th at 6:30 p.m. Mountain Time. I'm going to be teaching astrology. So if you want to learn astrology with me, this is about Venus in your birth chart. So Venus is the planet of relationships and pleasure and worth and value. And Venus in your birth chart can kind of describe what you're attracted to, what excites you, what you're drawn to in relationships, what you might need in relationships. And also not just relationships. It can talk about secret talents that you have. Maybe you're creative. Maybe you're good at creating wealth. Venus can also describe what life areas she governs over. So you might have Venus in the fifth house that says like, I'm really good at creating beauty and art and romance, but it might also govern your career sector. So you might find out that, hey, Venus is the ruler of your career sector and found in your fifth house. Maybe you should be doing something creative for your career or something like that. Venus is also, we're also going to be talking about celebrity examples and doing some chart readings for people who attend the workshop. So, and that really kind of brings everything together. And the goal for this is to give you some bite-sized astrology, really good technique-driven astrology, but that you can sort of easily digest, that you're not totally overwhelmed over, that you can take and understand yourself and others better in your life. So again, if you want to sign up, the link is in the comments or in the show notes. And you can, I don't know, my brain is frozen. So if you can't find those, go ahead and email me and I will get you registered. So hope to see you in class. So next, speaking of Venus, we have Venus in Cancer. Venus is the planet of relationships and pleasure and love and how we connect. And Venus will move from kind of flirty, intellectually driven Gemini into Cancer on June 17th, where it will remain until July 11th. So Venus in Cancer is more nurturing. She's more focused on emotional security, on these sort of meaningful connections. And so for you, it's actually going to be moving into your seventh house. So this is about your one-on-one connections with others. So between Mars in your fifth house and Venus in your seventh house, this does kind of feel like June is more likely of a month for maybe some significant romantic connection. If that is something that you're kind of going through in your life, because Venus brings pleasure and harmony and connection. in your seventh house. So this is going to be one-on-one partnerships, romantic. It's sort of like maybe going from something more, something in between a relationship to something that's maybe more committed. And, or this could also be like having meaning, having some meaningful connection and just really some lovely time with your partner. This can also help to smooth over conflicts with anyone in your personal life, whether this is a friend, a lover, a business partner. And speaking of business partners, this could be a time maybe when you establish maybe some sort of partnership that is not romantic. It could be platonic, it could be business, it could be a time that you are more willing to kind of collaborate and work with people. And Venus is just going to help you bring some sort of harmony to your relationship sector, whether it's romantic, platonic, business, clients, whatever it is. So lovely for you. Lastly, we have the full moon in Capricorn happening on June 22nd. This is like a two-parter. So this is a really interesting energy. A full moon, number one, is going to bring some kind of culmination or completion, maybe awareness or some sort of news or like event that comes up in a certain area of your life, right? But the reason why I say it's a two-parter is because this full moon occurs at 1 degree of Capricorn, and then next month we have a second full moon in Capricorn at 29 degrees. This is very rare, and usually it's like one full moon, and then like the next month we have another full moon. So it's interesting that we have this two-part story. It just like it's basically as soon as the sun goes into Cancer, we have this full moon right at the beginning of that sign. And then the second full moon that we have next month is at 29 degrees, which indicates this kind of finality or big ending or ending to whatever saga is happening. So, so for you, this is a full moon in your sign as well. So this is in the part of your chart that is about, it's about you. It's your identity, your appearance, how you approach the world, how you approach life, like how people see you. This is, about your very essence. So this tells me that there are maybe some significant changes happening over these next 2 months of, maybe a personal chapter closing and like a new opportunity arising. It just really feels like these sort of personal chapters for you really kind of shifting. So again, it just feels very personal. It also could be about relationships as well, because the first house is opposite to the seventh, which is relationships. And we have some stuff happening in that relationship part of your chart. It's interesting too, because Saturn, the ruling planet of Capricorn, will be going retrograde, and it's going to be going retrograde a week later after this first full moon. So Saturn basically at the time of the full moon has basically stopped moving or really, really slowed down, at least from our vantage point. And that means two things. Number one, it's going to kind of pull focus, and you're really going to notice Saturn, notice kind of what Saturn is doing in your chart at that time. So Saturn, again, being in your third house, you could be really focused on your mind, on communication projects, on learning, studying something, or anything to do with your daily commute, your neighbors, your siblings, or your daily rituals. Maybe reviewing and reassessing those, because again, it's retrograde. We are reviewing, we're reassessing, we're going over things. And also, because Saturn is your ruling planet, I do find it's probably going to be more significant for you, for Capricorn and for Aquarius, when Saturn goes retrograde. It's sort of like you may actually be kind of you may be kind of coming, maybe time for like a life review is kind of what this feels like. You may be sort of reviewing and reassessing your life in general, how you approach life, how you approach relationships. And also this has to do with your money as well. Maybe what you think that you're worth, or looking at your income, your spending and finances, because Saturn is the traditional ruler of Aquarius, and Aquarius is your second house of finances. So there's quite a bit that's going to be coming up for review. So I would encourage you to just kind of take note of that. And retrograde does not mean it's bad. It does not mean bad. It just means review. So very interested in that for you, Capricorn. So you'll have to let me know what comes up for you. Um, so any hoogles. So that's your horoscope for this month. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you found it helpful. Please like and subscribe if you did. And let me know in the comments, maybe your big three or your rising sign, and let me know kind of what's coming up for you or kind of what hit for you this month as you kind of watch this forecast. So I hope to see you in my Venus class. And if not, that's cool too. Hopefully you just enjoy my content, and I will talk to you soon. See you next week with another video. Bye, guys.